Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Mishna Yomi. For those who are people who are waiting for the Daf Yomi, I went out to breakfast with my wife this morning. Sort of quasi. It is the anniversary time, our 5th anniversary. Kol kavod to me for being in a marriage. I'm joking now. A wonderful wife, Baruch Hashem. Did mark this time period is around the 5th anniversary. Went out for breakfast, did some stuff afterwards. Hopefully we'll get a chance to go on a longer vacation at the right time. So I wasn't around for Daf Yomi in the morning. Tomorrow I'll be making it up, hopefully. Daf 100 and Daf 101. In the meantime, let's do the Mishnah Yomi. We're finishing Masechah Sheviis. Can you believe it? Congratulations, you joined the Masechah Sheviis. Now, if you live in Eretz Israel, you no longer have to observe Hilchos Shemitah because you're not learning Masechah Sheviis. I'm joking. You have to. I actually went to a flower store today, and they had a tuda, a hashgacha, that the flower store, that certain things were from Chutz La'aretz. If the flowers were from Chutz La'aretz, it's no Hilchos Shemitah. If it's from Eretz Israel, I don't know exactly what the hechsher was. We ended up buying flowers that are from Holland, the best place for flowers, apparently. We got some nice calla lilies. They had a hechsher by Rav Afrati. I don't know who this Rav Afrati is, but either way, the whole thing boggles my mind. Meaning, obviously, if it's grown in Eretz Israel, the flowers, you can't water them. That would be the reason, because you can't work your field during Shemitah. So any malacha, like watering your plants, would fall under the rubric of doing malacha on Shemitah. I really feel, after learning Masechah Sheviis with me, I really hope you don't make that mistake, because that is so not in the spirit of the law. That is not what the Torah meant at all. It's exactly the opposite, meaning on Shemitah, you're supposed to have a sabbatical. You're supposed to, we learned there's two Isurim on Shemitah. There's an Isur on the Karka. The Karka has to take a little time off in order for crops to grow better. And also that you can't do malacha and do harisha and do malachas on your ground because you have to take a sabbatical. For you, a sabbatical. For the ground, a sabbatical. Buying flowers for your wife or buying flowers for yourself, let's say, just to have flowers, is increasing the enjoyment of your sabbatical. Flowers are a nice thing. This is not, planting wheat in your field, or planting, whatever you cotton. I don't know, whatever you're gonna plant, or corn, or soybeans, or eggplants. I mean, you're not doing this for commercial purposes. You're doing this to have nice flowers on your living room, a nice bouquet to give to your wife, in your living room. I mean, what? That's Malacha Sheviis. You're over on Avodas HaKarka, on Sheviis. If you put water in a vase, that's exactly the opposite of the spirit of the Torah. It's really a wonderment and a bewilderment to me that people actually mistake these things for being a problem and yet a hechsher for this. I don't know. Anyway, let's finish off. Terumos b'Shvius. We said yesterday the halacha is that during the Shemitah year, a person has to say Dvedvar Shemitah Shmot. You have to put your hands down, even if someone says I don't want it, right? So I want to repay you the loan, right? First of all, you can't go after the loan during Shemitah, and if a person says he wants to repay you, you have to initially say refuse it. If he insists, then you can take it. So if you are the person, the lender, and you want to give it back during Sheviis, it's questionable. I'm going to talk about a Mishna, what this means. Ruach Chacham Nocha Himano means that the spirit of the Chacham, seemingly, it's in the spirit of the law. I mean, even though it's not a halacha, but you don't have to give it back as the person refused. If you insist and give it back to the guy, right, you did something right. You did the spirit of the law. The Chacham are very happy with you. And similarly, the way the Rabbi Bar Tanura learns this is that if you lend money from a ger, someone who converted, and his children also converted. So once a person converts, his children convert. There's no yichus, there's no lineage to his children anymore. He's born again. So he's no relationship to his sons. There's no Yerusha to his sons. So the Rav reads this, Lo Yachzer Lebanon, not that you shouldn't, meaning you don't have to give it back to his children, but you should. Chacham are very happy with you if you gave it back, because technically if they didn't convert, right, and you borrowed money from a goy, you'd have to give it back to his children. There is Yerusha for goyim, so therefore you'll cause them to be upset that they were Magayer, that now they don't get the money, so therefore it's best to give it back to them. Kol Hamatalta niktin Mashicha, right? If you buy any immovable object, you go to the store and buy a loaf of bread, you go to the store and buy, I guess, a piece of jewelry, right? It's niktin Mashicha, only not when you give them money, and not when you make the agreement, the verbal agreement to buy it. When you actually take the necklace and you pull it, you move it. So technically you can go back on the deal before you did Mashicha. Anyone who keeps to his word, this is what the Rav says based on a Gemara Bava Metzia, that your words should mean something, and even if the person decides, I don't want this necklace anymore, once he already agreed to it verbally, he can't go back on his word. Even if he did it Mashicha, even though technically he didn't, come happy, he shouldn't go back. Nigmar, Slikalam, Maseches Sheviis. Now let's go on to Maseches Terumos to do the first Mishnah today, Maseches Terumos. Okay, Maseches Terumos, Mishna Aleph, Parak Aleph, Mishnah Aleph, Chamisha lo yishramu v'im tarmu and Terumos and Teruma. 5 people, not only should they not take off Truma, but even if they did take off Truma, their Truma is invalid. They don't have the koach to take off Truma. Hafrashas Truma is a chalos. You have to create a chalos. You have to create a new status that it's now, whatever you separate is now called Truma, because now it patters the kri, right? It frees the whole pile from being called tevel now. You have to give it to a kohen. It's a separate mitzvah. Acherish ve'ashota ve'akatan ve'atarim v'shein shelo ovik l'chavim shetarim v'shel Yisrael afilu sharim v'shel Yisrael afilu yershus ein Truma. So Truma, if you're a cherish or shota, these are all learned out of the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Dabra b'nei Yisrael v'yichuli truma meiskol isha shir yidvenu libo." The barrel b'nei Yisrael, so the Gemara darshan, the pasuk darshan, Chazal darshan, b'nei Yisrael, Jews and not non-Jews. V'yichuli truma meiskol ish to ma'id a katan. A katan, if he's not 13 years old and 2 pubic hairs, he's not an ish. Asher yidvenu libo, to exclude a shota, someone who doesn't know, and you give him money, he loses it, he's not aware what's going on, has psychiatric problems. Someone who's chayrish will learn. He can't speak. He's a deaf mute. He can't hear and he can't speak. He's considered a full chayrish min Torah. His taking off truma is invalid because he can't even give a nadava. He's excluded from his lave is not a regular lave of a person. He doesn't have emotions, so he can't make an emotional donation. His emotions are not intact. Someone who's deaf mute obviously can't relate to regular emotions of other people because he can't experience the same thing other people. And even what's the last one? Terumos she'eino shelo. Again, if you take and even if and Terumos she'eino shelo, because it says where does it say this? It has to be from you, someone who takes. I go to my friend's pile of weed and I take off truma. That's not mine. I can't take off truma. It's invalid. Even with the evidence, it's invalid, and you have to go take off the regular person, take a truma. And the Mishna stresses that filu b'rishus. The Rav says even if you make you're a goy, a shliach, and you give him permission to take off truma for you, it doesn't work. He says gam atem gam. The Rabu Shluchachem, that even your Shluchim, just like you are a Bnei Bris, you're a Yisrael, so too the Goy has to be a Bnei Bris. He's not so even if he's your Shliach, and technically Shlucha Shalom Kamosu, by Goyim, there's no Shlichus, we learn from this, no Shlichus for a Goy. We'll get more into the parameters of Maseches Terumos. Today we're going to deal with Ina Mishnah, Maseches Sheviis, last Mishnah. See you tomorrow.